Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new, and welcome to my July 2024 monthly plan with me. So in this video, my husband and I are actually planning at a coffee shop because not long ago, maybe a month or two ago, I upgraded my Apple iPad to the new Pro, and so therefore naturally I would gift my previous iPad to my husband. So he's super into planning. He uses the digital planner that I created for myself, which when I was giving it to him and helping him get set up with it, I was surprised to learn that it wasn't very, it feels very, I guess, gender neutral, if you will. I don't know that he would have cared. It could have been pink. He probably still would have used it, but I'm just saying, I was just thinking wow, this planner that I made is definitely pretty gender neutral. So anyway, so far, since May, I think is when I got this, we have had monthly planning dates to plan out our months. And so this was our monthly planning date. And typically on our monthly planning dates, we plan for the next planning date, but we forgot to do it this time. But we go back to work in the month of July. So it's going to be interesting to see when we will be able to do it. But I'm assuming it'll probably be that last weekend in July, maybe that last Saturday. Anyway, just wanted to let you know where I was. And honestly, I'm not mad at this. I just had the bright idea to bring my camera, and I was like, I'm just going to film this and hope the lighting is well and hope that it turns out like it would if I were at home. So I am a little all over the place with my planning, and that is because I was doing everything but actually planning out the month because I was waiting for my husband to do some planning things before we could jump into going through our Google calendars and syncing up our calendar and planning out our months in the digital planner. So our Google calendars are very much, kind of rote, if you will. They have just recurring tasks on them, and we can reference them to see where we're supposed to be. I feel like they have a lot of our time-sensitive information. The Google calendars hold a lot of our time-sensitive information, but with our planners, aka the planner that I made, we are able to just kind of better outline what it is that we want to do for the month. So what you just saw me do is bring over my recurring goals and my recurring tasks that I typically have each and every month. That's something I was doing in the meantime, in between time. I think my husband's a coach. He coaches 2 sports and he's a teacher. So I think he was doing some coaching stuff and planning out some things for football and whatever while I was doing this. And then I also added my habits to my habit tracker. So that's what I was doing just kind of to pass time. I also thought it might be a good idea to go ahead and update my widgets and update my iPad aesthetic for the month of July. So what you're seeing me do now is scroll through Pinterest. I typed in July aesthetic and July 2024 aesthetic just for some photos to pop, just to kind of get some photos that I thought might work for July. I'm not really into the whole Independence Day vibe. I'm not really into decorating in that regard. So I was just trying to see what other elements or photos and things were out there that I might like for July that would fit my mood for July. My mood for July is basically I'm going to a family reunion, and we're going to be having pool days and things of the sort. So it's still very much kind of beachish and poolish, similar to June. I did try out the whole firework situation. I don't know. It wasn't giving. I'm trying out different wallpapers for my lock screen and also my home screen too, but I kind of cut out some of that to not make this as long. But just trying out different photos and stuff for my lock screen, and I landed on this one, which I really like. And I didn't really care for the white font, even though I typically do, so I am changing it to black because I thought that it went best. And the cool thing is I got that straight from Pinterest. Sometimes I make those type of calendar wallpapers myself, but that one was on Pinterest, and I don't know, I guess it kind of reminded me of a sandy kind of beachy aesthetic, even though I don't really think that is what it actually was. But anyway, this is what I'm going with for July. And then I found this one too. I like this one, chapter 7 of 12. And so I'm going to change that July, which I did like but didn't really match, to the July chapter 7 of 12 graphic, and that is my setup. Now I am back in my planner. I like to add a little razzle dazzle at times to my monthly dashboard down at the bottom. And eventually you will see I do go ahead and add in some to-dos that I would like to get done in July. I bring over all of the recurring tasks and to-dos from month to month, like giving my dog meds and things like that. And then eventually, as I'm planning, if I remember some type of to do or something, then I will add it to my task list. On tomorrow, because I'm filming this voiceover on June the 30th, I am supposed to be doing a beach day with my friend. We talked about it, but now that I think about it, I don't think we're doing that because we haven't talked any more about it. We haven't planned anything. When we were hanging together sometime in June, we were just trying to figure out a day that would work, and we settled on that. But we haven't talked any more about it. So I'm assuming we need to pick a different day because just randomly going to a beach on July 1st probably isn't going to work anymore since we haven't planned it out any further. On the 2nd, we have marriage counseling. This will be our 2nd session. So we'll see how that goes. I think we're going to switch to maybe quarterly after this session. I honestly there are things that we can talk about for sure, but there's nothing like super pressing to talk about. So I am anticipating sharing that journey. We loved premarital counseling. I had to do counseling to become a counselor myself. I had to do years of counseling, individual counseling, group counseling. So I'm very familiar with the process, and I am obviously familiar with the benefits of it. So we thought that we might get established with a marriage counselor and see if we can learn some things and better some things. One thing that we have long been working on is our communication. So I feel like that's just one of the things that we have needed to work on, just because we're two different people who have come from two different walks of life, and learning to communicate as compassionately as we can, with as much loving kindness as we can, as much patience, and all of that stuff has been just at the top of our to-do list. And we've done a good job doing so just between the two of us, but I figured that's something we could better work on in therapy. So anyway, as we're working through this process, if you're familiar, if you're curious, why am I saying familiar? Anyway, if you're curious about what's happening, is we just bring up our Google calendars, and we just go back and forth with adding in everything, counseling we do together, and some things we do together, other things we do not do together. My husband actually even has a second calendar where he plans out some of his sports coaching types of things. So we just kind of just go through and add in different things. And sometimes we talk about, like, let's say I have something that I'm doing that won't involve my husband, but maybe he can support me in some type of capacity, or he needs to know, like for the beach day. I don't think he put that on his planner, but I was just, that's something that he might want to know about, that I would be gone all day if I did go to the beach, because it's a decent drive, and we would stay there all day. But anyway, that's just kind of what we do. We just go back and forth, and I wanted to show some snippets of that process. And next time I'm going to do better with making sure that the camera angles are appropriate so my hand isn't in the way. But anyway, we have a lot going on in July. I am going to 2 reading meetups. I'm supposed to go to a wine and design thing with my friend where we're supposed to sip wine and make a flower bouquet, which both of those things are up my alley. We want to go see Matt Matthews, if you know him from TikTok. And he's a comedian. Well, he's a lot of things, but he's also a comedian. My little cousin has a birthday. We have a family reunion in July, and I'm using that cabin because the Airbnb that we booked is kind of like a cabin. Like, if you look at it, I wouldn't consider it to be in the mountains necessarily, but it is kind of like a cabin. Anyway, I am updating my folders to match the aesthetic for July, which is going to be blue. And then I did decide to use the whole fireworks situation as my cover for my planner. So I will just import an image and then arrange it to the back so that the 2024 pops up on the top, which is something that takes place. I just leave it there from month to month. So that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I am doing this voiceover in one take. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you did, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and if you're liking what you're seeing, and I will catch you guys right back here in a few days in a brand new video, particularly my July monthly reset. Bye guys.